takes a while. So pod's deactivated, press next. So now this pod is no more. Oh. I usually check my sights, make sure it's not bleeding. That can also cause it to have an error. Usually I'm not bleeding, so that's good. So now it'll ask you, there's no active pod. Would you like to activate one now? Click yes. Now you'll fill the pod with insulin. And you'll hear 2 beeps again. There we go. And you want to make sure it doesn't leak out the hole you put it in or at the bottom, and usually it doesn't. Click next and it'll start priming it. It'll click and communicate, whatever. Or it'll mess up, so there's a communication error when it's this far from it. Literally, I'm gonna pick it up straight, it's this far from it. Okay, you gotta put it sometimes on top of it. There you go, see? Put it on top and it finally clicks. It's supposed to have like a decent amount of range on the PDM in the pod, but sometimes it does not work. And it's stupid. And I take my extra insulin out of my old pod, put it back in my vial. Not supposed to do that, but never had a problem with it, so saves myself insulin. In fact, I just saved like 85 units because I was supposed to change it out tomorrow, but it was leaking today because guess what? Yep, hit a freaking door frame at work. Fun! So yeah, got the insulin back, 2 beeps. Got the insulin back, but didn't get the pod back because if it expires or you have to change it out or a day or less before the time it's supposed to change out anyway, Omnipod will not cover it. You can call them if it's messed up within 2 days. You need to change it out early, but after 2 days they don't refund you or send you a new pod. But they have good customer service if you try to get like supplies or a backup pod or like I said, like a new pod if one messed up or whatever. Anyway, so now it'll tell you to take off the bottom part, make sure it's not leaking, and it never leaks really for me. Click next. I don't use alcohol pads, so I'm not prepping the site. So you got the sticky back. Take off. It was 2 parts. I already took off the top before I showed you guys. So now extra sticky. This is what goes in your skin. This is the bottom part where the insulin comes out. Usually that wants to go. That should be on the bottom. If it's on your stomach, it could be on the side. Either way. So my arm here, you want to go on the back, fatty part. Of course, it's all muscle, am I right? No. Put it like right there. Okay. Now it'll say if it's ready, press next. Now it'll say start. It'll say press start to insert the cannula or just the tube. So basically, needle goes in your skin. The tube goes over it, the needle comes out, your tube is in your skin, that's how the insulin gets into your body. So you press start, it'll count down, click, 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 or 3, 2, 1, click, whatever. You might hear it. Five seconds at a time, it's different. You want to relax whatever it's going into, like your arm. You want to just let it like fall to your side or whatever, or if it's on your So whatever it's on or going into, try to relax that part of your body so it's not tense up when it goes in there. And then I'll ask you, pod's active, program or basal program 1 has been activated. Check the site, make sure it's not bleeding. Kind of hard to do when it's on your arm, but I usually assume it is fine. It'll ask you if it's properly inserted. Click yes. If you click no, it'll deactivate the pod and you have to change it again. Usually, sometimes it'll hurt, sometimes it won't hurt if it goes in your skin. Sometimes if it hurts, it means you've hit a blood vessel or a capillary. So, but it doesn't always mean you hit one if it hurts. I'm already at 22 minutes. Didn't know that. That's cool. So just to show you guys, so going to my records. Nope, it's in settings. Basal programs, basal 1, view, list. So there's my basal program times and units. Basically, it goes from midnight until 7. It's about when I get up, usually. So usually want to have 2 different programs of basal at least. One for when you're sleeping, one for when you're awake. So 7 o'clock's about when I get up most days. Then I go to about 10 o'clock. So I have like 0.75 units per hour. And then 0.85, so you want to do more when you're sleeping because you're not moving around being active, which actually lowers your blood sugar. So like during the day, you're walking around, doing stuff, whatever. There's a graph, just in case you're curious. System setup. Yeah, so here are all the different alarms that can be on. But the expiration alarm, it reminds you when it's about to expire. Reservoir, which is when the pod gets low. And then 1 after you change it out, letting you know to check your blood sugar. Let's go back. Insulin carb ratio. Basically, how many units, or how's that worded? Basically, it's how much does 1 unit of insulin cover carb-wise. Because carbs bring up your sugar by a certain amount. And 1 unit of insulin brings your blood sugar down a certain amount. So, you balance it out in a way. So, mine is all day, anytime, 10 grams of carbs per 1 unit. That's pretty low, meaning the lower that number is, the more insulin you're getting. Because then if you had like 100 grams, if you're eating 100 grams of carbs, 10 grams of carbs per unit, that's 10 units. If it was 20 grams of carbs per unit, I only have 5 units. Some people get that confused, but that's just math. Some other interesting stuff, like the correction factor, is apparently how much 1 unit of insulin actually lowers your blood sugar. So mine is set to 80. And so basically, if you didn't have this and you're doing it all handheld, taking shots, doing the math in a book or whatever, you would take your current blood sugar minus your target blood sugar minus 125 divided by your correction factor. So if it was 125, if my blood sugar was 125, subtract your target blood sugar, which is 125, I'm left with 0. So I need 0 units to cover my current blood sugar, which means I don't have to take any insulin to lower my blood sugar, but I would need to take insulin to cover the carbs I'm eating. So there's 2 different reasons you're getting insulin. And usually your basal, which is the background insulin you're getting constantly, or if with a shot, it's long-term insulin, you're going to try to constantly lower your sugar throughout the day. But at meal times, you're taking extra carbs in, meaning your blood sugar is going to go up unless you compensate for that by taking insulin. That's what makes type 1 diabetics different from type 2, is that type 1s can eat and drink a lot more stuff, because all we have to do is take enough insulin to cover it, within reason. Usually the sooner you take insulin before you start eating or drinking, the better it is afterwards, because you're not spiking your sugar like drinking a soda, and then it takes like 2 or 3 hours for your insulin to fully bring your sugar down based on your carbs and sugar at the time you tested. But if you can go and get that in you sooner, by the time your sugar's going up, it's also being brought down, and it kind of like does this instead of going this and then slowly back down. Because having a high or low blood sugar is not the best time. Because when it's high, your body's trying to get rid of it by making you use the bathroom a lot. So you're peeing out the extra glucose and sugar, which in turn makes you thirsty. And all of that makes you tired. Not a fun time. And you also, sometimes you get so overwhelmed and so tired you can't think straight. So it's just not a bad time. It's not a good time. It's a bad time. Words are hard. My sugar might be a little high right now because my mouth's dry, but also I've been talking for 27 minutes, so it could also be the reason. And when it's low, you literally cannot think. All you need, all your brain is focused on is sugar. Sugar, give me sugar. So some people get shakes. Some people, that's the main symptom. But I mean, once you get your sugar in you from like drinking some tea or some juice or eating a snack, it's fine. But also be careful with that, because sometimes you get too much carbs in you because you think, oh, I've already drank like 50 grams of sugar and a cup of tea. I still feel shaky. Let me keep eating or drinking. No. If you get enough carbs to bring you up, which is usually like at the most 40, 50 grams, you're good. Your body just has to, there's a lag effect. Some people, and I've been guilty of this in the past, just keep eating and drinking until you feel fine. But then you're right back up to a spike, and then you got to bring it right back down. And if you go down too low again, you go right back into the lows, and you get it's the worst kind of way to manage it. And if it is high, bring it down to insulin. It's the most effective, I think, way. Of course, that's what you're supposed to do. But if you sometimes don't have if sometimes you don't have enough insulin, or like your pod messed up and you don't have a extra pod with you, I always carry syringes so I can get the insulin out of the vial if I have to. Or worst case scenario, just exercise. Do a lot of rapid movement, a lot of like cardio that really gets your sugar down. Like sometimes I've trusted my pod or insulin too much in a way. Like I would just eat a lot of carbs and just take enough insulin for it, but my sugar would still be high. And if it stays high long enough, you get irritated. And I was so irritated, I just went outside and ran circles around my house until it lowered it, and it worked. But I was tired, but it worked. And temperature can affect insulin's activity, especially when it's hot outside. Apparently, it makes it to where it doesn't work as much. Like a shower is not a problem because you're in there for like 10 minutes versus outside for 6 hours. They tell you fiber and whole grains are good to like, because they technically count as carbs, but they're not carbs that affect your sugar in a way. So it subtracts from the total carb count, because when you're looking at carbs to cover, you're looking at the total carbohydrate on the nutrient facts. But if it has any fiber in it, which usually comes from whole grains anyway, you can subtract that. So stuff like whole grain toast or whole grain, I like to get whole grain bagels with cream cheese. That's a pretty good breakfast. I've also heard pumpkin seeds and blueberries are good for diabetics. I eat them, so there you go. And also, I fell in love with this brand called Sola, S-O-L-A. It's got like a red packaging. In fact, got some ice cream right here, cookie dough. If I can get, there we go. Sola chocolate chip cookie dough. Favorite flavor of ice cream? And I have some artificial sweetener. As a diabetic, can't really drink sweet tea, which is what I used to drink all the time when I was young. And you can't really drink a lot of soda. And, of course, there's sugar in coffee, but who's going to give up coffee? Not me. So I've tried a lot of artificial sweeteners like Splenda, Sweet and Low, whatever other crap they sell. But I found Sola. It was a new brand. I was like, I'll try it. It is the only artificial sweetener that actually tastes close to sugar. It tastes the closest to sugar. Like if you just eat that straight up, it tastes like sugar. Of course, you don't have the same effect because it's not sugar. And so I tried the ice cream, and it's pretty good. It's got a different consistency. It's not creamy. It's not like regular ice cream texture. It's chunky in a way. It's kind of hard to describe. It has a bit of a weird texture, but it tastes really good. And it has more protein in it.